I'll tell you what, the only intriguing moment was the Arsenal game, isn't it? It was that game that had a bit of nerve and edge to want to grind point. But for the United game, I didn't really see the picture quite clear. So I want you to talk to me about the Arsenal game. You feel that incident was really a penalty? You had something to say about it?
It was a comical decision, to be fair. Like, if you watch that decision, because you know sometimes when a penalty happens and the players themselves don't appeal, that's what makes it strange. Because Harrison didn't even try and say they fouled me. He just got up to play his ball, and the referee says it's a penalty. He cried, he was shocked, but he just said, you know what, thank you very much. That's all. So, very poor decision.
Now, after we taking Brentford, what does this mean at the Emirates? Already, do you have the thoughts that the Premier League is out of the... It's 11 points. You've got 7 games to go. It's out of the picture and it's just one of those fixtures?
I think Arsenal have to keep going to the end just because that's the honourable thing to do. But I think knowing that you have a big match against Real Madrid, I don't want to see Bukayo Saka play. I don't see Saliba play.
You feel they should prioritize their Champions
I feel like
League.
there's a lot of key players. I don't see Declan Rice play. I don't see Thomas Partey play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, seriously, because at the end of the day, whilst it's an important game, if the points gap was like 4 points, I'll say go for it. Yeah. But you, like you said, it's what, 11 points at this stage of the season. 7 points, no, they shouldn't do that to themselves, because if you go and someone gets hit before that Real Madrid game and then you can't complete, because you've won 3-0, and you're going to throw it away by kind of getting someone injured against Brentford. Brentford, they're not playing for anything. Brentford don't care.
Yeah.
Like, they're not interested in what's happening.
But it's not going to be a cheap fixture, though.
Oh, I think it's going to be quite easy.
Okay.
I think Brentford, if you noticed, at the beginning of the season, they were very good at home because they were playing all the easy teams. Then when they had to play the big teams away, they were losing.
Sure.
Now they are playing the big teams at home. They are losing at home and they are winning away. So for them, Brentford, if they meet a team that's around their level or worse than them, they'll win. When they meet a team that's quote unquote better than them, they'll lose. So Brentford are not that much of a threat. So they should rest their players. Look,
what
I know you want to do like you are challenging for the title, never give up, never die. But I think right now the Champions League has become a more attainable goal in the sense that you have this lead over Real Madrid. We likely play PSG in the semi-finals. Get past Real Madrid. Prioritize the PSG home and away leg, because we know how these things are. Even look at how PSG lost against Liverpool in their first leg in the round of 16. PSG were all over Liverpool, but Liverpool managed to win 1-0. You can have a game like that, and then you can also have a game where you are now the better team and you're able to hold on. So I think right now they should be thinking about the Champions League. That's more realistic for them than the league.
All right, that's great. What will be your prediction for that game?
I have to see the lineup. That one, it's very dependent. If Arsenal were to play a full-strength lineup...
True, but you did your lineup already. You took a big
but
names out.
that's what I'm saying. If Arsenal were to go with their best team, they should win this comfortably. I think right now we are seeing Bukayo Saka was looking quite alive in the Champions League game. So once he's back and he has that influence, Mikel Merino seems to have and starting to understand the striker role.
True.
Martinelli had one of the better games I've seen for him in a while. They look like they're in decent form. Even right now, I think, hey, would Declan Rice score another free kick?
Yeah,
so there's
crazy.
No, their players are looking quite good. So if they were to play at their like they played against Real Madrid, they should win it comfortably. But if he rests some players, I think they might still win, because he might maybe bring them on later just because it's like, okay, we still want to win the game, but we're not trying to get injured. But it's going to be a much more difficult game. But I think if both teams use their best lineups, Arsenal win comfortably. Interesting.
Let's get to the Manchester City game now against United. Can I say they were poor? I didn't see the normal Manchester City I'd wanted to see. Now they have powerless. First off, Kevin De Bruyne, we know he's not going to play for City again. What do you feel his final contribution should be to this team?
I mean, for Man City, their objective for the season is clear-cut for them. It has to do with making sure that you end Champions League football and winning the FA Cup, at least. With everything that has happened to them throughout the season, basically that's all that their season have been reduced to. So, and they're coming up against a very interesting Palace team that have had this upturn of form over the last 18 to 17 games. If I'm not mistaken, I think they've lost twice in the last 17 games or so. I'm not too sure about the stats, but they've virtually have this upturn of form. And if you watch them last season, when Glasner came in, at the tail end of the last season, that was where they were beating all teams and they were lining up, beating United 4-0 at home and all of that. It looks like they've gotten to that phase of their season now. He's trying to, I don't know, form this idea in my mind that they look to be a team that, I mean, would want to always finish the season very well.
Okay.
It looked like things are working for them right now. They had lost some key players in the course of the season. Adam Watson, for instance, coming in back, I mean, raising that level in their midfield. And there is this player, Munoz. Munoz has taken off. I mean,
a fantastic footballer.
He's just running up and down. I mean, making things happen for them.
I just want to say something about the running up and down. I saw a stat that of Premier League players, he spends the most time sprinting of the time he's
athleticism.
on the pitch. Yeah, he's a powerful
very
guy.
athlete. He's a very solid athlete. I mean, just before I came in, I
love
really,
players who love to work
you see,
on the pitch.
The Premier League has some profiles that, when you have, would definitely work. I mean, that is why you look at the Europa League, and Amorim has spoke about, or said something very interesting about that, that the Premier League has that physicality and athleticism. So anytime United playing so poorly in the Premier League, but they go into the other, or they play against other European teams at that level, and they show some level of, I mean, because you watch some of the games in there. So that level of athleticism that you have in the league is up there. And if you have players that have that level, they're able to make a difference in the team. So the profiling is very key when you are getting in certain players. And he's been one player who has been a standout for Palace anytime that he's come up against. City, for them, we know the problem. They've run out of steam. I mean, it gets there at that point. There was a point where, I think if I remember so well, Pep Guardiola was asked about why he left Barcelona. He said he couldn't motivate his players anymore. There is that point where...
Are they at that point?
No, you feel that the whole structure, the whole setup needs some bit of a refresh.
Okay.
That's why, it's because you've had this set of players that have consistently played for a very long time. They've won it all. Yeah. They've won the treble, they've won the numerous leagues, they've won, and these are key players. So sometimes you need a bit of a refresh. I mean, imagine going to a certain distance every day, over and over again, over and over again. You get to a point mentally you need something to stimulate you.
More,
Now they are refreshing the whole setup. Now Bergestein is going, Hugo Vienna is coming in as a sporting director. They are looking at new players. De Bruyne, an end of an era. De Bruyne, I think, is the last. I think De Bruyne and John Stones are just a few of the players that are left in that era that have to move on and all of that. So that's been a characteristic of their season. You watch them and that spark, that energy isn't there anymore, and it's become very difficult for them. So going into games like this, and any team that have showed some small quality over Man City have always caused some problems for them. And I feel this game is going to be a very tight game for them. Palace are going to cause them problems. Any team that out-sprint them, out-muscle them, I mean, in terms of the physicality, they've got the technical quality. Even against United, you could see the technical quality. It never goes away. But it requires far more than that. And I think Palace will cause a lot of problems for City. And I think if I'm to predict, although it's at the Etihad, Palace can run away with a draw or a win. I don't think City will win this.
Wow, that certainly minimizes the chances of Manchester City, trying to stamp their authority in European football. Well, of course, now the slot is wide with Arsenal between, Real Madrid and UEFA Champions League, and trying to get the Premier League clubs, in numbers increased in that front is quite material. But, it gets City a bit shaky in form.